Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Chicagoland here with WWSS. It's Kevin alongside Luke. Luke, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Kevin. How you doing this afternoon?
Man, I'm excited for this one. It's a mile and a half track. It's been a minute since we were at one of these. People would think that it's pretty, straight to the point, but I would have to disagree. This track has a lot of strategy to it, and I think we're in for a good race.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you out here, Kevin. And we're just watching some of the guys out here wrap up their qualifying. I think we got one more out there on the track. Christopher McCullough just putting up his best right now. Just looking at your top 20 over there on the left side. Right now, it's as it stands, Matt Morrison, Garrett Hummel, and Hunter Ezell to take the top 3 positions on the start.
Yeah, and we see Christopher McCullough out here getting his qualifying. He had a good run last week, getting a podium finish. He's going to be starting towards the back, as I don't think he actually got a lap completed.
Maybe just out there getting some practice. I know I'm guilty of it
Yeah,
a time or two.
yeah, and Luke, a couple notes here for the track on the evening. It's a very hot track, so tires are going to eat up, and it's going to be slippery. We got 130 laps out here. I'm reading 32 drivers as of right now. I think we should be in for a pretty good race.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to wait here just a second here, but to see when it's gonna change here from our qualifying to the actual race. But it looks like we're gonna be sticking to the same temperature, about an 83-degree day and 124-degree track temperature. So
Ooh.
we're in for a warm one out here, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. And all that means is these guys are going to have to be extra careful to keep their cars straight. I know we like to see that early 2-3 wide action, but at the same time, gotta get acclimated. I'm trying to see here. Right now it's 3 p.m., so it should be a day race all the way through. Lights won't be coming on, so it's gonna be hot throughout the duration of this one. And these drivers are going to have 4 tire sets to get them through these 130 laps.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
roughly 30, 30 and some change laps per tire set out here is kind of the goal. These guys are starting to grit up.
I'm reading as it stands. I know we're probably gonna have one or two out for officiation and stuff like that. I think we're looking at about 32 to 33 drivers on the evening tonight. Do we know who's going to be RC?
I think it's Logan tonight. But I would like to point out that we have Connor Price and Omar Rodriguez both had their $5 end of line penalties paid off. And Omar Rodriguez actually had a $25 drive-through penalty paid off, so
Oh, wow.
he's going to be not only starting from the back, but at a severe disadvantage going into this one.
Yeah, we know he's done it once before. At least, on the start from the rear, but let's see how he fares with the little more intense challenge.
Yeah, and this track is quick enough that he comes in, he takes that penalty, he will go a lap down. Now, Lucky Dog is in effect, and I don't think he's too worried about this thing going green flag to flag, but it's going to definitely start him at a little bit more of a disadvantage than usual.
I don't want to get too into it, but we definitely did see a little sneak peek of what we might be, you know, capturing out here in this race in the warm up. Couple pit
Oh
parties they
yeah,
were doing,
I
but
love to watch these pit parties,
oh
but
yeah,
I've got to
absolutely.
imagine, Luke. We go out in these practices and we push the car to the limit to see what we can and can't do, and one can only hope that that's kind of the thought process in some of these practice
Oh
wrecks that we
yeah,
see.
absolutely, absolutely. Just taking a look at your qualifying right there. We got it up on the screen right here. They're already making their way around. With this being a shorter track, we're not going to take the time to go and round out each name here, but just to name off the top couple here, we got Matt Morrison going to be leading that inside line on the front, Garrett Hummel on the lead on the outside line, Hunter Ezell pushing the leader, and Jacob Petrosky going to be pushing the outside line. So a very strong front four out here. We know there are definitely some common names up here in the front, so definitely not surprised by that at all out here. But we are reading, I believe, let's take a look here, 33 drivers then if Logan is on RC out here. But they're going to get ready to make their way on around out here. The pace car is going to make its way in. We're going to get ready to get this thing underway out here for the first time tonight.
And, you know, as we say that, look, the lights go off, or come back on the pace car, and we're going to be extended by 1 lap here. They got to sort some things out, get some guys their EOLs, and be going green next time by.
Gotcha. They get things sorted out here.
Yeah, Luke, what do you think of Chicagoland?
I can't say I've ran it in a while, Kevin. What do you think of it?
I like it. You know, I'm a big intermediate fan, but at the same time, I'm also a big tire eater. So if it was me out here, I think I'd be trying to save one of my 4 tire sets for a short run at the end. I know I'm not going to make anything happen on the long run, so it's going to be interesting to see what strategies these guys play out, how confident they are in their long run speed at a track that has a temperature in the 120s.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do out here. And Glady Forks Custom, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you. And I believe we're getting ready to go green this time, no?
Yep, looks like it. Lights are off on the pace car.
Getting ready to
And
round
Matt
turn
Morrison
4.
ready to take things away.
Into the
Green
restart
flag, green
zone.
flag. In the air, we're racing for the first time here tonight, Luke.
That we are in a good start here for the leaders out here. A good jump. Pretty seems to have gotten off the line here relatively safe.
Yeah, and Blaze Billings starting from the pits, as well as Nick Hames, both of them making their way out. And we see already hand out the window for Omar Rodriguez. He's going to come in and take that drive-through as soon as possible.
And sorry to
comes into the pits.
Cut you off there a little bit, Kevin, but we're seeing 3 wide in 2 separate occasions up there in the front couple lines right now. These guys are looking for some transfers, and they're looking for them fast.
Yeah, and you know, we say it all the time, the track position's king out here at a track that's kind of a big question mark in terms of how the racing's going to be. So these guys trying to get into their positions early. We see Matt Morrison has held it down, but Hunter Zell on the move. Trying to catch up to him, but he's side by side with Jacob Petrosky as they're kind of fighting each other.
Think of all these moves early, Kevin. We're seeing a lot of 2 wide to 3 wide scenarios here still when we're already a handful of laps.
Well, you know, I'm going to answer your question here in a minute, but first I'd like to point out that Omar Rodriguez was able to stay on the lead lap, and he's fighting right now right in front of our leader, trying to keep that lead lap position. And I mean, this is, you know, good for Omar, but I'd go as far as to say bad for Matt Morrison, as he's now going to have to, you know, play around with a guy that probably isn't going to willingly give up the position.
No, not at all. See a lot of the guys still bunched up right now. We see a couple cars have already fallen off pace of the lead.
3 wide for P2 right now, as the 8 car of Daryl Johnson dives to the apron. Not going to have the run off.
Yeah, looks like he's going to fall back in line behind the 19 of Hunter Rizal.
And, you know, league owner Omar Rodriguez typically wouldn't, you know, root for a caution out here, but right now I think he wouldn't be too upset to see one fly because he's about to lose that lead lap position to a fast Matt Morrison.
Yeah, and without anybody behind him really fighting for draft or anything like that or position close to him, he's getting a lot of room to catch up to Omar Rodriguez's draft.
Biggest mover so far, Regan Shockley up 9 spots. Heath Job up 9. And Kenny McCullough now up 9. All making moves early.
So Daryl Johnson really trying to dig here these last couple laps to get a position here. He tried to fight for that P2 position when he was jumping below the apron there over the tri over the last couple laps, but it seemed to work out for him. He's back to 6th place now.
Yeah, and, you know, he made it. He tried it and it didn't work, and I think now he's content filing in back in 6th place and trying not to burn his tires up. So, gotta keep an eye on him. But the guy behind him is the guy that just can't stop winning, Logan. That's Dawson Price. So, I'd be defending a little bit if I were Daryl Johnson, because once he gets around, or once Dawson gets around you, it's hard to get him back out here.
Yeah, absolutely. We know he's been able to get it done on, I want to say, almost every kind of track out here so far this season.
Yeah.
Definitely seems like a tough driver to go up against. I know in a point standing, it definitely got to be a little worrisome seeing him already up in the top 10 already.
Now we seem to have a little bit of a gap forming from P13 to P14.
And there it is.
Second and a half. I'm not sure how strong draft is out here at Chicagoland, but it seems like they're kind of, you know, packing up in 2 different little packs. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out here with Travis Farmer trying not to lose too much track position here early.
You know, they're not too far off out here, but just getting a sense of those earlier lap times out here. We get to...
Yeah, we must have missed the loop, but 2 laps back, Matt Morrison's past the lead, and he's since lost 3 spots. And he's fighting with the pack. I'm kind of buried, and you know, interesting to me is seeing that Omar Rodriguez is right there side by side Hunter Rizal, trying to hang on to that lead lap position.
And it looks like
I wouldn't try too incredibly hard if I were him, because I think I'd rather, you know, fight for the lucky dog and live to see another day with my tire set as opposed to just burning it up too much. So it's going to be a game of, you know, weighing the pros and cons on that, but he's able to wrap the outside and keep on the lead lap for now.
Oh boy, and 3 wide once again briefly there for 2nd place.
Oh, and caution's out.
Read on anything? I'm reading an off-pace car, number 5 of Nathan Swafford. We're going to go back and take a look at what happened here.
Not getting much at all, if I'm being honest. Okay, it's not doing me any favors, but I'll keep looking.
Oh, found it.
Alright, that's good. 4 gets into the wall, overcorrects a little bit, trying to get
I
off.
think we see a bit of netcode, too.
Yeah, to give him the benefit of the doubt here, Chad Strelo, you know, did see some netcode, but at the same time, I think he came off the wall and came down. That one might have happened without the netcode, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you know, I'd have to agree on that one if I'm being completely honest. But unfortunately, we see it happen. Number 3 briefly gets clipped there, but I believe other than the 2 there, they were the only 2 involved in that one, I think. But it's going to bring us back here to pacing right now, and we definitely see a missing front bumper there for the number 4 of Chad Straight. He's no doubt going to be making his way into pit road to get that thing fixed up.
Yeah, no doubt, but how about Omar Rodriguez, able to stay on the lead lap through it all? Had Hunter is out by about half a car length, it seems, when the caution flew, and he's right back on the lead lap and looking good. I'm not saying it was a wasted $25 by somebody, but Omar Rodriguez able to shake it off in the first 14 laps of this thing.
Yeah, I really can't say I'm too surprised, Kevin. do see a few cars still in the pits right now, but I do have some unfortunate news to report, Kevin. We do have our first meatball of the night. It's going to be Chad Strelo, yeah. Seems to have taken a little too much damage there early on, and unfortunately that's going to be the end of the race there for the number 4 Jack Daniels car. See them filing up too wide here. They're going to get ready to go green here this time.
Yeah, we saw a lot of pits, Luke. I don't know, if that's a lot of tires being taken this early or what it is, but I think we're going to see some mixed strategies at this point.
Now, what kind of strategy would you be taking in this scenario, Kevin? We get the first caution out here
I
relatively early.
I still think I'd be trying to run it as long as I can just to save that extra set to the end. If I'm running towards the back, I might come in and top up on fuel just to extend that strategy of trying to run it as long as I can on my first set of tires. But for the most part, I think staying out would be my move. But just looking, the 99 may be blinking a little bit. Now's not the best time for that to happen.
Not particularly, but regardless, we're going to get this thing underway once again. We are green and racing once again.
Hunter Rizal with a good launch here, out in front of Sean Merriman and Jacob Petrosky.
Seeing a lot of 3-wide scenarios here briefly on these passes out here, but nothing sustained.
Travis Farmer now your biggest mover of the night, up 13.
Some blinking going on up here for the 19 of Hunter Rizal. And now the number 99 is going to attempt the split. Doesn't quite have
Fry
it.
on the move.
Room just not quite going to be there. If you're Kean Fry, you got to be a little worried out here with the blinking. At least I would be. I know it's a relatively big issue in the game.
Yeah, Sean Merriman now trying to make it work. Get himself up into the mix. He's side by side. Ooh, contact between him and Kean Fry, and Merriman got really tight there. Got aero dumped, and he got so tight he had to lift way out.
4 wide briefly around Daryl Johnson. 2 cars make the move, and now it's back down to 2 wide. And this is a pretty big battle we got going on right now, just in these front couple rows right here for the top 10, Kevin. Oh, and the 9, he's sideways. Recovers well, and it seems like everyone holds it together. Travis Farmer, sideways for a moment, seems to hold it together.
Great save.
Yeah, great save, but I don't think it's going to warrant out a caution. He's still going to remain in 16th place out here and with the draft. But definitely unfortunate for him out here early on. How about up here in the front still? We see another 3-wide scenario forming once again. Now it's Dawson Price. He's moved up into 6th place now.
Yeah, and we already talked tonight about how we wouldn't be surprised to see him up here in the mix, especially with how dominant he's been thus far this season. Oh yeah, that was the first commentator curse of the evening, Luke. I said Travis Farmer was his biggest mover of the night, and next thing you know, he's into the wall.
One of the, I would like to point that out, you said one of the.
That's true.
Let's see if it's a curse or if it's just dumb luck. Okay, when these cars are moving, I'm seeing some very, very fast speeds out of these things right now.
Yeah, and just an update, Luke, Chad Strello out of the car, so his night is officially over. I know sometimes you'll get ever so lucky and a meatball won't completely end your race, but tonight wasn't one of those times.
Yeah, quite unfortunate for Chad Strello to have it be over so early, but the show must go on out here, and I believe we currently see 29 cars still on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's a battle, and it's also starting to get a little bit spread out. We're seeing that top 11 or 12 kind of running together. Then it's kind of, you know, a few car lengths, then about a second of a gap after Connor Price. So front 13 kind of has a breakaway going on now.
Yeah, that they do, and then leading that second pack is going to be Travis Farmer out here, who we saw fall off, but now kind of has his own pack behind him out here. He's definitely got to be hoping these guys get into a single file line out here and see if they can make some speed work out here. But it looks like the number 3 going to look for a move out there on him. That's Justin Zemecki. See, most of it's settled back down to 2 wide out here for the most part out here in this front room. But we do see a little bit of 3 wide situations going on here and there. Rizal still holding off the lead here at the start of lap 30. Kian Fry and Dawson Price now chasing down his lead, but Dawson Price looking for a way around Kian Fry, but he's opting to take that high line out here. He seems to have quite a bit of speed out here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the fuel window is, but you know, we're coming to that point where if you were to split all your tires up evenly, you would take your first set very shortly, so it's gonna be interesting to see what type of strategies these guys play out here. I don't think we'll start seeing a mass amount of pits anytime soon. You know, we've only been green for about 16 laps since the last caution. seeing a couple of pits, Luke. We saw Nathan Swaffer coming last lap. We're seeing Travis Farmer coming in now. So, I don't know if that's just a couple outliers or if guys are starting to pit here, but Travis Farmer lost a decent amount of spots. He was back to P19. So maybe some damage he needs to clear up after getting on the wall there.
Maybe.
You just saw Nolan Gross get into the line or get into the wall here, and P4 dropped back a couple spots. He's fighting his way back up around the outside.
Kyle Van Drunen fighting up here in the top 10 as well. He's been having to make his way around quite a bit of traffic to get up here so far.
Now staggered 4 wide. This is not gonna
man.
end well. They're beating.
A little bit of bumping. The 6 ops go very low, but no one's backing out of it, Kevin.
No one's backing out, but at the same time, ooh, that could have went a lot worse.
Kind of sorts itself out. I want to hold my tongue. It's not over yet. They're not completely clear.
Oh, and that's wide. Into the wall.
Little tap.
And Nolan Gross is really struggling. He's into the wall again.
It's going to file him back down to 2 wide. And that was a very scary pass situation we just saw right there, Kevin.
Yeah, and that honestly, I can't see it going any better. I could have seen it going a lot worse. So good on the guys out there for keeping it clean enough and sorting it out and also giving us some action.
How about it, Kevin? Dawson Price made his way around everybody. He's up here hunting down Hunter Azell now.
Yeah, absolutely, and he is on the hunt. He's running that higher line, making it work. Probably saving a little bit more tires than the guys that have been battling up here since we went green again. How about the 78 of Garrett Hummel, too? He's running that outside line and shooting out of a cannon. As I say that, he drops low. Another driver I want to point out, how about Connor Price? He started at the rear due to an EOL, and he's up to 11th place. He is hunting through the field. Trying to get into that top 10. He's going to have to pass Heath Job next. To do so. I don't know if Nolan Gross has some damage from that wall contact, but he is starting to fade. Back to P9. Definitely
a scary spot to be in if you're the 28. Scary spot.
Yeah. Especially with us knowing that Sean Merriman has good speed this race. It's a very tight battle here back for 10th place, and we've seen, I want to say a 2-car breakaway. Yeah, just the League 2 Hunter Azell and Dawson Price have kind of put themselves on an island.
Yeah, I'd say. We're on the blimp view and we can't even see him.
It's getting very congested there around like 4th, 5th, 6th, all the way back to 10th. You know, these guys are fighting hard, and I don't know if they're burning up their tires in doing so or not, but it's going to be interesting to see if this pack spreads out at all.
Garrett Hummel leading that pack right now, and seem to be very spread out here near that back portion of the group right now.
Luke, that was a hard hit for Heath Job in the 760, getting up into the wall. And I was just want to comment on the day Kyle Van Drunen's had. Good top 5 speed so far, and he might have some damage.
It seems my mic was muted, Kevin. Trying to get the words out on that one, but man, that was a hard shot.
Yeah, it was. Then
see Nolan Gross getting involved at the end of that too. He gets tagged. And
yeah, a little domino effect gets a couple guys, but
let's take a look here. We know it starts up around, what'd you say, Heath Job?
Yeah, and I think it's the dirty air of Kean Fry getting Heath Job a lot tighter than he thought he would, and just getting into that outside wall. Going back and watching here, he's just hard into it, and then comes down over Kyle Van Drunen's nose. I'm trying to see, is that Nolan Gross getting turned into the infield as well?
Yep, I believe that's what we saw. Yeah, he was riding that high line right behind Heath Job. He actually caught the wall a little bit as well, no doubt trying to follow the same line. Oh, we see the 36 correct. And save their own car.
If the damage from that isn't that bad, I don't think he's going to mind too much, because I think he was coming in. Yeah, I think he was coming in for some repairs anyways.
Yeah, we see a little left rear damage maybe just from that slight bit of contact there that he had, but other than that, I think the car's going to be fine. But how about it, Kevin? It's the pits. Everybody's in the pits right now, but one driver, unfortunately, that didn't survive that. The car that made the contact with Nolan Gross there at the end, Kyle Van Drunen, unfortunately, is now with a meatball. The whole front right steering column completely out of alignment.
Yeah, we've talked before this season about how this ARCA car has a very odd damage model. If you hit the tires or even the right front in an awkward spot, it can end your night. But if you hit square on the nose, it's a completely different story. It seemed like just the location of the damage is what ruined Kyle Van Drunen's night here. We've seen harder hits, but unfortunately for him, that's going to do it.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed, but talking about unfortunate events there, some very fortunate things have happened here out tonight for Dawson Price. He's made his way around, if I'm not mistaken, the entire field apart from Omar Rodriguez, correct?
He started...
Did he start a lap down
mid-pack.
No,
that was Connor Price.
Oh, okay, Connor.
And Connor Price is sitting in P4, so I mean,
right. I mean,
whatever the story was,
equally as impressive.
Yeah, Connor Price has been moving, and I've been trying to keep an eye on him, and it seems like he's just been dominating, taking right rears. He hasn't been trying to make too many passes on the inside, but if he can get to someone's outside, it's a completely different story.
It's off the pace car. We're going to be going green this next time around. See a handful of the drivers catching back up out here. It's going to leave 27 drivers out here on the lead lap. The next vehicle at contention for the Lucky Dog was Heath Job. He managed to hang on to the lead lap out there.
And a decent break here for the guys. I know we saw a couple, Nathan Swafford, or not Nathan Swafford, it was Kyle Reynolds, Travis Farmer. Those two we saw come into pit under green. They got the wave around, so they're going to be on a little bit older tires, but also still going to be on the lead lap. We are green out here. That's a good jump here by Dawson Price as he goes off into the sunset. Kean Fry and Hunter Rizal side by side racing behind them.
We see some very intense 3-wide racing going on right now, just behind Dawson Price right now. Everybody trying to make a transfer around. I believe one of those three is Connor Price as well.
he and Fry able to get around Hunter Zell and give himself some working room. Connor Price as well. We're single file through the first three, but we got some hard racing out back.
Yeah. We've seen it almost. We've seen a lot of 3-wide scenarios and even a couple 4-wide scenarios in this thing here. It's definitely been a wild race so far. Still sitting with the lead out here. He's sitting just under a half a second gap right now. It shows he's hit right now, but it's just because no one's been able to pass him since this restart, Kevin, and it's bugging the UI.
Yeah, you know, that's a bug SDK's had for about a year now, and think it's ever gonna be fixed?
I don't, Kevin. We see some contact up into the wall up there by Connor Price right now, who's going to fall off a position there from that back in 5th place. Seeing a lot of 3-wide racing going on right now, especially in that top 10. Because they're looking to make some moves, especially with these fresh cars after this. Omar Rodriguez already into the top 10 as well. He's starting way off in the back. Made his way back around up to the front and now into a top 10 position out here. He's looking at a pretty good spot after that pit cycle. A lot of movers going on. Austin Price has been hanging on to that outside line out here for some time now. Got to imagine that's been pretty ideal for his tires out here thus far, but again, I don't have the best reading on this track myself. Ran this one in some time, if I'm being completely honest. He seems to have settled into decent pace out here. I'm really eager to make any crazy moves at the moment right now. We still got a lot of racing left, and I believe another pit cycle or two.
And we see Dawson Price still just making that top lane work, especially through 3 and 4. And it's interesting to me to see that, the guys behind him are still running a lower line. So I don't know which where line is going to work better for who, but I think we're going to find out if this thing stays green for a while.
Yeah, I was just wondering the same thing myself, Kevin. Like I said, it just seems like everyone's kind of filed into their pace out here. They know we're approaching the halfway point out here. We're not too shy of it now, but you guys are definitely settling into that nice pace that they, at least position-wise.
Yeah, Heath Job now takes a 1-10-second pit stop, maybe getting some more damage cleared up before getting back out there. He falls 3 laps down, but is back on the track.
I believe the blinking persists out here for Hunter as well, Kevin. It seems to be pretty consistent throughout.
Yeah, I'm running second right now, and luckily for him, it's pretty single file, but if Kean Fry makes a move on him, or if he makes a move on Dawson, that could be very dangerous. I will say, the pack's coming together. It seems guys are starting to slow down the pace. We saw Connor Price up in a podium spot. He's fallen back to 7th place. Omar Rodriguez now up into 8th after having to serve that drive-through here early. So a lot's changing throughout the pack, but at the same time, Dawson Price, that's right as I was about to praise him, gets into the wall, and here comes Hunter Azell to his inside.
We see another position change back there behind him. Kean Fry now making his way into the 3rd place position. The battle's still going on up there in the front. Door to door, they're bumping.
The they sorted out, but that could have been dangerous as Hunter Azell stays around the 54 of Dawson Price.
He's going to opt the inside
This opens
line.
the door to Jacob Petrosky, who's making the pass as we speak on Kean Fry. He wants some of it.
Yeah, but them fighting door to door like that's just going to kill their momentum out here. It's going to give the room now to Hunter Azell up in the front. See the field kind of splitting up once again out here. Aiden Stevens in 16th place. Gap between him and P, 15. Be Garrett Hummel in the 78 car. Behind them, a smaller group: Nick Hames, Buster Malcolm, Blaze Billing, Richard Elliott, and Nolan Gross.
Yeah, we just hit the halfway point here, and still have 26 cars on the lead lap out here in contention, all within about 10 seconds of each other. So, you know, we've seen in the past a lot of DNFs, a lot of, you know, lap down cars, but right now it seems to be a pretty clean race.
And we just gotta hope we didn't give him another commentator's curse there. But yeah, pretty high hopes out here. It's been a pretty clean race so far. See that group of four still locked in. Daryl Johnson, Omar Rodriguez, Sean Merriman, and I believe Connor Price in that mix as well in the 28 Starburst car. You got a preferred Starburst flavor, Kevin? I gotta say, mine's got to be the pink ones that Connor Price is rocking right now. Either that or like the dark red ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say the dark red, honestly. I think I like those a little bit more than the pink ones, but both very good choices.
Yeah, absolutely. Omar Rodriguez working the outside now up into the 6th place position.
Looking at your biggest movers tonight, positive it is going to be Omar Rodriguez, who's made his way up into what sits at 5 right now from the back. And your worst mover is going to be James Hudson, who we know had the damage earlier and is sitting a lap down. Fastest lap on the evening is going to go to Hunter Rizal, I believe. Yep, Hunter Rizal with a 31.05. A few 31.06s, so not a gap at all when it comes to fast laps.
See that same group forming up once again. Sean Merriman, Omar Rodriguez, Daryl Johnson, Kian Fry, and now Matt Morrison making his way back up into the mix. He's back up into the top 10.
Luke, you know, you gotta wonder when the next cycle of pits is gonna be coming in. Because I know we haven't seen a green flag pit yet, but we saw a couple guys try to short pit it maybe due to damage, maybe just due to wearing their tires off. So I imagine we're not too far from a green flag pit here. But at the same time, I could see him going to like 90 to try to split it even.
I guess it just kind of depends on what kind of strategy they're looking to run and what kind of line they've been running tire-wise out here. I guess that'll kind of determine, in my opinion, when they would want to come in. Man, we're seeing a lot of 3-wide action going on right now, Kevin. Just shy of 10th place right now.
Yeah, and we'd see a caution come out. I see Ty Carino in the wall, but I don't think that's what it's for, because that was just, you know,
I'm reading an
train
incident
paint
out
with
in
the
the
wall.
backstretch, Kevin. I'm reading Danny Barnes involved. I'm reading John Marino. And I believe Jeremy Osborne has jumped to the pits out here. I don't know if that was by design before the caution or after, but we'll go back and take a look here. So it looks like he just went into the pits.
Yeah, this one's going to be between
Normally.
Danny and John Marino.
Oh.
Yeah. John Marino kind of like a heat-seeking missile almost. He wanted to keep it off the wall. He didn't want to get into the wall, but he kind of overcorrects that and comes into Danny Barnes' line and clears both of them into the wall.
Yeah, but not seeing any meatballs for either of them. I believe they both drove off of that fine, so they're going to be able to get into the pits here with the rest of the guys. And pretty quick succession out here, but I don't think it was going to be much of an issue for either of them except for positions.
And Luke, well, I don't think we're going to see the green flag pit stop. That kind of puts us in an interesting situation where if it were to stay green out here, it's going to be a 50-lap run, which I think these guys could manage. So, you know, the green flag pit stop might have to live to see another week.
Yeah, I think it might, Kevin. I think it might. Now, I know it's still kind of early, but if I had to ask you, who you got your money on at the moment?
I think I'm going to go with the guy that's had the fastest lap out here. I know it's going to be a long run, so it's going to be completely different. But if we see another caution to split this into short runs, I don't think anybody can beat Hunter Zell. He's got the short run speed down. We haven't really seen a huge sample size on the long run speed. I know Jacob Petrosky and Sean Mervin both looked pretty good there on that medium run, but I think if this gets cut into short runs, no one's beating Hunter Zell. Who do you think's going to win?
I don't know. I mean, you bring a very fair argument with Hunter Zell out here, but I mean, it's hard not to put your money on Dawson Price. But I obviously do want to kind of keep out an eye out here for Omar Rodriguez. He made a pretty good transfer out here, and he's now all the way up in just shy of the top 5 right now. So I'd say if I could put money on it, it would definitely be a split bet.
Yeah. be our green out here once again. Sean Merriman with a good jump. He's going to get out in front and go on up to that high line in front of Hunter Zell, who's going to try to clear Jacob Petrosky. As far as pits go, we saw just about everybody come on and take what's probably their second set. Oh, we're getting very off pace there is going to be Sean Merriman.
3 wide briefly for your leaders. Hunter Zell shoots the outside.
Yeah, that was an interesting one, Luke. We saw Sean Merriman get really squirrely or not even really squirrely, but just off pace and still off pace and fading fast. Did he stay out here, Luke? Did we have a read on his tire situation? He might have saved a set.
Let me see if we can figure something out here.
Yeah,
yeah, he's sitting on the oldest car.
He's sitting on 30-lap-old tires here, and he's just hoping he can get a little bit of an advantage to come in and take a set. Not a bad call.
Ooh, yeah, and you see the tire wear right there. He's using about the limit of it.
Wall. Omar Rodriguez now up into P3 here. We're watching the man try to make it from last to first for a second time on the season. How about a contest for the lead between Hunter Rizal and Dawson Price? They're side by side. Dawson Price hasn't been using the bottom side too much. Displaying that it can work here. The exit speed's going to kill him.
Yeah, he's going to have Petrosky behind him, but yeah, that inside line just doesn't seem to quite have the momentum build up that he needs here to sustain the pass on the inside.
Yeah, and he's going to try to file back in. He's probably a little worried the 92 of Omar Rodriguez is going to, you know, stick him on the bottom, so he's going to file back in and go back up to a comfort spot on the top. We're seeing 3 wide, very tight between Petrosky, Rodriguez, and Price. Hunter Rizal likes to see this behind him and not next to him.
It's been a tight battle up here in the front, Kevin. They really haven't let off much since this thing has restarted.
Yeah, no doubt. We see brothers right now kind of battling for that third, fourth position. And Connor Price, he's made his way up to the top 5 fairly easily tonight, but it seemed that progress kind of slowed down as he's now battling the guys that we know are fastest here tonight. Hunter Rizal, Omar Rodriguez, Dawson Price. Daryl Johnson's had a great night. Laps to go out here. These guys still have to think about saving tires for a while, because if we were to somehow stay green for the rest of this race, the guys up here battling as hard as they can are going to be hurting. Ooh, as I hear somebody into the wall.
For them having to be, you know, worried about saving tires out here, Kevin, we sure are seeing a lot of 3 and
4 wide,
now 4 wide racing. 4 wide racing. The 611, 04, and 09 are running 4 wide, just 4 rows back. Comment back down to 2. But man, it's always a scary moment when you see the 4 wide situations, Kevin. You know how dangerous they can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like
But
that,
how
and there
about-
goes the 78, hard into the wall, Garrett Hummel! He goes down below the line. I think he holds it together, and he seems to still be on speed. But he definitely got knocked below the line.
What
on
the hell are you talking
backstretch.
about?
I just saw him get doored and go flying towards the inside. I thought he got hit way harder than that.
Oh, you know, I just watched it back, and I got to give you the benefit here. It did look like he was going to go flying into that wall, but
He holds it
tremendous
together.
save by the 78.
Yeah.
And we're still green out here.
Yeah, and he's still on the draft of the leaders out here, so he's not going to be completely out of this thing.
You know, definitely got my hopes up with that one. I thought I was going to switch over to seeing someone flying through the air, but...
Oh, the 04 into the wall.
Or Christopher McCullough, that's his second time in this run, and he is losing speed fast. But how about Travis Farmer? He was involved in that earlier incident. You know, he fell to the back. He had to take that early pit strategy. He got the wave around, and now he's back up here in the top 7. How about a huge thanks to Pro for coming on board with us for this race, Luke?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pro
Big
skill
fans.
recovery. Always a pleasure.
Still see some tight racing going on up here in this front pack out here. They really haven't calmed it down much out here since that pit stop. It's definitely go time out here. Though we do see the field pretty separated here. Leading that second group is Nick Hames. It's very staggered out there towards the end. How about Omar Rodriguez now? Peeking at the inside. Competing for third here, but that outside speed for Darrell Johnson. Dawson Price looking to try to get the speed to shoot the outside, but he's not quite going to have it going into the backstretch here.
Huge run here for the 54 of Dawson Price. Is he going to do anything with it? No, he is not. Just going to stay up on his preferred line. He knows there's 30 plus laps to go out here. That's going to press an issue.
You know, these guys, some of these guys got to be pretty worried out here. You know, we saw a lot of 3 and 4 wide racing here earlier on in this pit cycle out here. Some of these guys got to be pretty worried out here about their tire wear already. As it stands, Hunter Zell still holding strong onto his lead up here in the front.
A little bit of wall contact for the 09 of Travis Farmer. Ooh, and the caution flies.
Trying to get a read on it. Yep. Aiden Stevens, we see him rear end against the wall by the checkered flag out here, and let's see what we got here, Kevin. He's running it tight against the 93 and 11. Oh. Oh my god, did he avoid the wall there? I think he
Regardless,
did.
I don't think there's any damage on that car.
No.
If he touched it or not, but so a great save for him.
Let's go back and see
I
the
think that
contact,
one's gonna
though.
have to be on Regan Shockley. Yeah, kind of just
Kind of gets down a little bit there into him.
hooks him, and a good save for not only the 74 but everyone for not getting involved in that. As that's going to be a very contained incident, but at the same time, that's going to change strategy a lot. These guys have a decision to make: come in and take that last set of tires, or stay out and hope a caution comes within, I'd say, the next 15 to make that strategy work. But if you're Sean Merriman, you're in one of the better spots in this race, despite being a lap down. I don't know if he's going to get the lucky dog, but I do believe he has 2 sets of tires still remaining.
Definitely an ideal spot to be in out here, and it seems like a vast majority of the front are going to come in out here, Kevin, but Travis Farmer... Let's see, we got Travis Farmer, Buster Malcolm, Christopher, and Kenny McCullough all going to opt to stay out. That's 4 drivers not opting to go in. The rest are going to make their way into the pits.
Yeah, we saw Travis Farmer have those issues earlier in the race and have to take that very early pit stop. I'm curious if he has a set of tires here, because we knew he took one about 20 laps before everybody else. So this might just be something Travis Farmer needs to do. He might have 1 set remaining, but regardless, he's deciding this thing out as his best shot at this one.
Yeah, and I'm very intrigued to see how this fares for these drivers that opted to stay out here. We know they all last pit out here, I believe, on, what was that, lap 79. So we're going to have to see, you know, what that difference in pit time out here is going to do for these guys. And see if they're able to hold it out here on it.
We see Farmer, Malcolm, McCullough, Warner all staying out, and then Price actually beat Hunter Rizal off pits. And I think for these guys, if we stay green, the race is going to be won by who can get through these cars on older tires quicker.
Lights off the pace car here. We're going to get things underway this next time by. Everybody rounding up and catching up with the lead group out here. Pace car is going to make its way in, maybe for the last time tonight out here. It's going to be Travis Farmer and Buster Malcolm with the start out here through the restart zone. And green flag, we are racing once again, and already 3 wide, just a few rows back. And Kevin, they're getting to business quick. Dawson Price making the jump immediately.
Yeah, and we're going to see a lot of different strategies out here. Like we see Hunter Rizal get to work right away. He makes his way around the 29 on Warner. Oh, but Buster Malcolm up into the wall kind of gets a piece of Hunter Rizal and slows him down.
And that's going to kind of bunch up the field there for a minute. 3 wide, we see the guys right now. 4 wide almost briefly, but it's going to settle back down to 3. Man, that's it's a very, very scary situation to be in right there, Kevin. It is.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That is a very scary field to be moving through.
The 19's doing just what he had to do and get through those those slower cars.
I didn't want to cut you off back there, but the 78 just barely avoids contact with the 28 back there. They kind of came together there a little bit, but noticed each other last second. Were able to avoid each other, but almost a very scary moment there early on as we are 25 laps to go in this thing.
Yeah, and Hunter Rizal makes his way back to the front, and following him with the best pace from what I've seen is going to be the 92 of Omar Rodriguez. He's gotten around all but one of Travis Farmer, and he's trying to make the pass right now so he can start putting in the work to get up to Hunter Rizal.
But he's got quite the field to operate through here, Kevin. He's got a couple cars on some older tire sets out here. He passes one, Christopher McCullough. But he's got some work to do out here if he wants to catch up to Hunter Rizal, and he's got, closing on 20 laps to do it.
Yeah, now Jacob Petrowski's made the clear past all the slower cars, as well as Kean Fry. These fresh tire guys are now 1 through 4. 23 laps to go.
Wide right now, and Dawson Price has found his way to the inside to get clear all the way around, and he's up to the high side. They're 3 wide around him right now. Daryl Johnson shoots the inside. He's going to have it with some speed through 3 and 4. He's going to clear up to the high side. Dawson Price looks down low.
Yeah, these guys are wanting to battle each other, but also knowing that they don't want this front 4 to get a breakaway going. So, as we're 2 wide, I think Kean Fry, Jacob Petrowski, Omar Rodriguez, Hunter Rizal are all kind of hoping they keep fighting with each other.
Yeah, and the Price brothers trying to get linked up here to get around Daryl Johnson. The more they fight, like you said, it's going to slow him down and create even more distance between that lead 4, who are, like you said, starting to get a good breakaway going right now. A little bit of fighting going on now for second place. Omar Rodriguez and Jacob Petrowski trying to get around each other here to get their chance to make the pass on Hunter Rizal. Hunter Rizal going to be looking to defend this one off out here as the guys behind him are starting to catch. Ian Fry and Petrowski battling a little.
A little bit of a blink issue, but it's a non-issue right now as long as they're not fighting each other. Right now, Omar Rodriguez is faster than Hunter Rizal, I'd like to point out. Both last lap and the lap before, he was a little bit faster. So he's making up a lot of his time in 1 and 2, so it's going to be interesting to see if Hunter Rizal can hang on for 17 more laps, or if it's going to be another back-to-front story, or if Jacob Petrowski is going to be able to get in the mix.
Definitely a handful of possible stories out here, Kevin. We'll just have to see which one unfolds out here.
How about Kyle Reynolds up into P6? Oh, and
no, Lord, Kevin!
I've done it again.
Kevin, what have you done? Oh! And Reagan Shockley collides hard, and oh no!
That was a bad one, Luke.
That has to have been the worst one.
I think it's the first time I've said his name all night, other than earlier when I was talking about his strategy, which was working very well up until that.
Oh man, and I mean, you really can't draw it up any more poetic than that. I mean, if we talk about the commentator's curse there, and the minute you mention his name. But we're gonna take a look back here and see what was it a result of that. See him getting down a little low with Dawson Price, and
I think Dawson goes up to side draft and he's just off the wall by about half a car length, and both of them think that they have the space, and neither of them do. Regan Shockley comes in fairly late.
yeah, but I got some unfortunate news to report here at the end of this one, Kevin. We got two drivers out here that will not be finishing this one.
Yeah, and I'd imagine I'm seeing Kyle Reynolds already out of his vehicle, so I imagine he's one of them.
Kyle is not one of them, oddly enough.
Well, he's done regardless. He's out of his car, so
definitely interesting. But the two I was gonna say is Reagan Shockley and Nick Hames. Check it out here. What happens to Nick Hames here at the end of that incident?
Oh, barely gets clipped and then goes
that
up on
was
his
enough
side.
to give him the meatball, because look at his front right suspension here.
Yep.
Completely tore it out. Yep. And it like you commented on earlier, Kevin, the damage model on these cars, it's so sensitive to where the contact is made. And definitely an unfortunate case of that there for Nick Hames.
Yeah, with that being said, I think we see. Can we get a read on who's pit up here in the front? 103, 114. Oh well.
Yeah, ignore those. Those are
101, 101, 101. Can we go back and see who the first guy that pit this time around is to see who's got the freshest tires out here?
Seeing 101, 101, 101. I'm seeing 101 all the way back except for Travis Farmer on 70.
I saw some guys come into the pit, so I'm curious.
Oh, I see a couple. I see Kenny. I see Chris.
Okay, yeah, so the guys that took that strategy of staying out last time, including all of MMS, are on the fresh tires now and going to be trying to make positions up, so keep an eye on them. You know, it's only about a dozen laps, but that's a big difference when the track is this hot.
Yeah, that's true. And lights off the pace car. We got 22 cars on the lead lap right now. Sean Merriman's going to be the next vehicle have possible attention. Heath Job, the last victim to fall a lap down. Pace car is making its way in out here, and I know I said it last time, but it might be the final time for the night as we are racing once again. Hunter Rizal with the jump. Oh, and we already see some contact going on near the back of the field. Nicholas Warner, I believe. Wow, he was issued a meatball now after that. And that is interesting. Yes. We're gonna have to see if that sticks.
Yeah, it was Warner into Elliott into Warner into the wall, so kind of just a stack up restart. But right off the start here, the biggest the thing that catches my eye the most.
Oh my goodness! Oh sweet lord, here's the big one.
And the big one happens mid-pack here.
With 12 to go out here, we see multiple vehicles involved in that, and I'm reading Dawson Price, Nolan Cross. We're going to have to take a look back here and break that down a little bit. We were watching the wide view.
That was Kean Fry flying through the air.
See Nolan look for that. Starts to look for a gap that closed very fast. Oh, and then he gets into the 78 high. Comes down. Clips the 28. 99. Oh, man. Yeah, the 99 gets sent for a ride. Dawson Price gets hit pretty hard by the 62 there. Kenny McCullough getting a bit of contact into the 62. The 62 sends the 50 or the 99 for a little bit longer of a ride. Now I want to go back and watch that through Kian Fry's POV.
Yeah, I'd say Kenny McCullum now in a great spot in this race as he got through it with very minimal contact up into P8 on the freshest tires now.
And an unfortunate
That
end
was
of the
a
night.
ride.
An unfortunate end of the night there for Kian Fry. He looked strong all night out here, and that's unfortunately going to be a wraps for him out here as his vehicle is sitting in pit lane. The laps are trickling away out here, Kevin, and you know I think we're seeing a sense of urgency out here from these drivers. Starting to get a little nervous out here with the laps dwindling away. They're wanting to make these moves quick.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when we have all these different tire wear situations. Look, what I was about to say right when that happened was Daryl Johnson was on the move on that restart, made it up into P3. Caution comes out, so, you know, still in a good spot, but it's going to be interesting to see what the A car can do.
And he's looked good all night, Kevin.
Man, Zero Chill, it's been a penalty on that incident to the O2 of Nolan Gross there. So if you've got a bone to pick with somebody, I think the O2 of Nolan Gross is your guy. We're gonna be going green this time by. Hunter Zels restarting on the inside line, but also doing a little blinking, you know, getting a little blinking going, so hopefully that clears up. He's got about a back stretch of pacing to do so.
It's going to be 8 to go when they cross the line when we go green. It's going to be Hunter Zell defending the lead out here with Jacob Petrosky on his outside. Getting ready to get this thing underway. Pace car is making its way in.
Here we go.
Through the restart zone. We're green. Once again, we're racing. And it's 8 to
8
go.
laps to go. Hunter Zell with a decent start here, but also a good read there by Jacob Petrosky as he's going to file in right on his tail. And they're both going to get to work on each other. Daryl Johnson and Aiden Stevens side by side. Back for P3.
And that's exactly what you want to see out here. Either of those two up in the front.
Yeah, and Luke, can we check real quick what tires Matt Morrison's on? Because he has come back into this picture very quickly as we haven't seen him for a hot minute. 101, okay, same as everyone else. But nonetheless, he is moving. Side by side for the lead. Oh, they're beating around.
Oh, man, they're bumping, Kevin. It's getting rowdy out here. And now Hunter Azell getting split. Briefly 3 wide with the 6 and the 74. And now
through goes Matt Morrison. And here comes Kenny McCullough into the mix. He's got the fresh tires.
that he does, Kevin. He's going to be a dangerous
Oh,
car to
leaders
defend
trying
against.
not to turn each other.
Oh, man, and it's a tight race right now, Kevin.
Ooh, 3 wide. Morrison bumped out of the way by a fast-charging 03 car. Hunter Azell back to the lead, side by side with Petrosky.
Kenny
As
McCullough
Aiden
taking
Stevens gets
all
out
the
4
side draft he
wide.
can. Oh, man, they're bumping.
This ain't gonna end well.
They're holding it together. No one's backing out.
There's still 4 wide. 2 McCulloughs in it. And how about Chris McCullough? Comes out of nowhere, wraps the outside, and he's up into 4th on the fresh tires.
He's got the speed. He's going to try to continue the
He's gonna
run.
hold the outside. We got 5 laps to go here.
No doubt he's going to be looking to pick up Kenny, but
Oh,
he gets
into
into the
the
wall a
wall.
little. Kenny with him now on the outside. 4 laps to go.
How about Jacob Petrosky? A great race so far. He's trying to hold him off. He's got Aiden Stevens in his rear view right now, trying to make these tires work.
And now Kenny looking at the inside, and Christopher gets
Christopher
turned right
McCullough.
into him! Oh, man!
Oh!
Oh, man, and they're wrecking hard. Hunter Azell involved as well. And a lot of your lead cars involved in that one, Kevin.
Yeah, I'd say about, half the field there. Seems like, as we see the second big one.
I was going to say, we kind of got a little twofer on the big ones out here tonight, Kevin. We're going to go back here and take a look at where this one started. I believe it started up there near the front. We see the 04 trying to file in behind the number 4 up in front of him, but just doesn't realize the 4 wide situation going on behind him. Wasn't all the way clear, and that
Just a
unfortunately
classic
led to a nasty-
self-clear. This is exactly what you want to see if you're Jacob Petrosky. You got the speed, and now all you got to do is hang on for 2 laps with the restart. Unfortunately, Aiden Stevens and Matt Morrison have both looked very quick. They will be behind him for something.
Yeah, definitely a lot of unfortunate stories right now on the track right now. Kevin Hunter Azell being one of them. He took a very hard lick back there, and he is now a lap down. He was leading a majority of the laps out here in this thing.
And as they pace around, Luke, it's a very different top 10 than what we saw before that incident. We have Petrosky still on the lead, Stevens still 2, Morrison made his way up to 3, Omar Rodriguez in 4, Zemecki 5, then Johnson, Merriman, Farmer, Job, and Nolan Gross round out your top 10. Nolan Gross was involved very heavily in the accident before last, and he's already back up into a top 10, so this thing has been flipped on its head.
Yeah, it definitely goes to show you how quick things can change up here just in one incident out here, no matter how late in the race it can be out here. We saw cars laps down, now back in contention out here, and are going to have a shot out here for something. But the real ones we're going to be looking out for here, Jacob Petrosky, he's been up there in the front a majority of this race. He's looked good all race. Aiden Stevens and Matt Morrison as well, but Omar Rodriguez looking to get his second back to front finish out here of the season. I know he's got the caliber to do it once a season, but can he do it twice? Pace car is going to be making its way in this time. We'll be maybe going green out here for the last time. I know I've said it quite a few times out here, Kevin, but I'm very hopeful this time.
Yeah, here we go. First green-white checkered of the night, second of the season, and we are green flag racing. Jacob Petrosky with the jump. He's not going to clear Aiden Stevens.
Oh, and
that's
some
going to be
blinking on the
interesting.
inside.
A huge run for the 74s. He was able to stay it, not cleared there on the restart. And that could very well put him in the position he needs to be in this race. So Omar Rodriguez up into the wall. He's fading fast.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an awkward restart there for a couple rows behind the leaders. That's going to create a lot of window of opportunity for some of these other guys. As it's going to be white flag this time. One more to go out here, and it's going to be Jacob Petrosky trying to battle this thing away with Aiden Stevens on his door. Aiden Stevens got the edge here going into the back straightaway.
Side by side, here we go. A big push
but how
from
about
Daryl
it?
Johnson.
The 6 looking at the
Super
inside
speedway
now.
fashion.
The 6 briefly looking at the inside on the back straightaway, and that's going to kill Jacob Petrosky's speed. And he's going to come down and give him the door at the end of it and put him in the grass. Oh, and he comes up and clears him.
A great win for Aiden Stevens, though, as he's able to make it around the outside, get a good push from Daryl Johnson, and seal the victory here for the 74.
Man, what a win for him. And I hate to jump to it too fast, but we saw some tempers flare there on the last couple turns, Kevin.
Yeah, can we go back and watch that restart and see? One of the first times this season, especially with these restart zone rules, that we've seen the guy on the outside able to hold side to side. I think that's what sealed it here for Aiden Stevens. He was able to keep Petrosky from clearing, put himself in a race-winning spot. Good jump there, and then maybe clear for a second if you're Petrosky, but he hesitates, and the right rear is taken by Aiden Stevens, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and while we watch this back out here, we'll kind of cut to that white flag lap that we saw out there in those last couple turns. We saw a little something going on between Matt Morrison and Jacob Petrosky. They're both working on the same line right now. It's the white flag. Six looks to the inside and kind of gives Petrosky a little bit of a bump for the inside.
Well, I think it's going to be here on the exit. I think Petrosky tries to take a little bit of a dive.
I was going to say what I mean was I think this is just a theory, of course. I don't know whether this was on purpose or not, but under the assumption that this wasn't accidental, and they weren't exactly, Petrosky wasn't exactly happy about it because it killed his speed in the last two turns.
Yeah.
He sees Matt Morrison getting a run and doesn't want him to finish in front of him, but obviously...
Yeah, and he finishes the race ass backwards, which is pretty impressive, so...
Yeah, that he does.
I'm going to go ahead and get Petrosky up here first for the interview and see what he has to say about that race. Hey, Jacob, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, what a race that was, and it was a very clean race. And then there at the end, we saw some chaos. You want to talk us through that last restart and what you think you did right, and what you think you could have done a little bit differently?
Oh, on that last restart, I obviously let it. I had a good jump coming out of the restart zone, and I figured I had a great shot there, staying on the inside of Aiden, just side drafting him down that backstretch coming for that last time. But Six tried to get to my inside. I of course blocked him, but then he came all the way down onto the apron coming into the corner and shoved me up, and that really that really killed any momentum I had. And then coming to the line there, he just took to right and spun me out right there.
Yeah, an unfortunate finish there for the car, of course. Still able to get a P3 finish. You know, I gotta ask, it looked like maybe for a brief half second you had cleared Aiden Stevens. Would the plan have been if you were, safely clear to hop up in front of him, or were you always trying to stick to that inside line?
The whole race, I've been trying to stick to that inside line. That's where I've had the most speed, and that's where I've been able to save the most tire. And so just having more practice down there, more speed coming off the corner than everybody, than I would have. I'd probably stuck straight to the bottom unless or coming to the final corner, and I felt like I had a good run up top.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a great finish nonetheless, getting a podium finish out here. Next week we're going to the Milwaukee Mile, which I am going to have to do my research about because I know nothing about that track. How do you feel going into it?
Also, no, absolutely nothing about that track. So we'll get there and we'll see what's up.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. Anyone like to thank or shout out before we get you out of here?
Shout out Aiden. He's been working on that one for a long, long time. He's finished second and third place in almost every race. I think the only race he hasn't finished top three in was last week. So shout out him. It's a big accomplishment for him, and I'm super happy for him.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate the interview and congratulations, Jacob.
Thank you.
That was Jacob Petrosky getting it done in P3 out here. A strong, strong race for him all night. Next interview I want to get in here is going to be your P2 finisher, Daryl Johnson, who looked very fast.
Yeah, he looks strong all night.
Hey, Daryl, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, that was a great race and an even better finish. We saw only the second green-white checkered finish of the season so far, and you guys didn't disappoint. I want to talk you through that last lap there. It kind of seemed like the 6 and the 01 were battling each other on the inside, whereas you thought the best move would just be to, give Aiden a nice shove there and clear him. How did that work out for you? And talk us through just that last 2-lap run that got you up into second place.
Yeah, I ran a little higher in 1 and 2 than Aiden did. And then it looked like he maybe had to let off a little bit coming off a 2. And my option was either to wreck him or, go low or just push him. And I felt like those two on the bottom were kind of pushing pretty hard against each other. So really my option was to push him. I've had a rough go at this league, so I thought a good finish would be great. So I knew didn't have a chance to pass him just because of the way this track is. So it was push him, and it was good to push him for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta say, it looked like all throughout the night your short run speed and your restarts were dominant. You want to talk us through how it felt on the short runs versus the long runs out here?
It really depended which line you started on. If you got stuck on the bottom in the short runs, it was really hard to stay with people. As it went along, you could go to the bottom and make some moves. I felt like my long run speed was better than some of the folks I was racing against. I kept kind of drifting back to 10th and then working my way back up to 5th, and I just kind of stayed in that little area right there. And if you went to the bottom to try to make a pass, you just lost position. So it was all kind of like where you're running and who you're running with. So it was just a fun race for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blast watching you guys out there. Congratulations on the second place finish. And you'd like to thank or shout out before we get you out of here?
Oh yeah, my team, Slightly Dangerous Racing, got a whole slew of guys out there that race with me. Tonight it was James and Garrett that race with me on this league, so they've always been a good support. My family always, let me come down here and do this a few nights a week, and God above, obviously, you guys for doing the broadcast. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate it, and congratulations on the podium finish out here, Daryl.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thanks. That was Daryl Johnson getting it done in second place out here. Great race for him. But now I want to talk to the man of the hour. It's going to be Aiden Stevens taking the checkered flag out here. Hey, Aiden, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, what a race that was, and what a restart there at the end. We were talking about how it seems like all season on these restarts, especially green-white checkers, the guys with the restart zone, in control, can kind of get out and clear in front. But you were on your game there and was able to keep it to the right rear of Jacob. Do you think that was what won you the race out here?
Yes, I do. One of my biggest weaknesses, I think, in all of racing is the outside front row restarting. I've never been able to do it well, and I kind of fluttered the throttle a little bit there, and I was able to keep on Jacob's quarter the whole way, and I think that's what got me ahead. And also that push from Darrell. That push from Darrell really helped me out. If I didn't get that, I probably would have been neck and neck with. Well, it depends if the six dumped Jacob at the end there or not. If I was beside him, but I probably would have been neck and neck with Jacob if I didn't get that shot from the 8.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge surge down the backstretch. And I was going to ask, how does it feel getting a push like that on a non-super speedway track? Was it pretty secure, or could that have gone sideways?
It was pretty secure. I think he hit me pretty square. It was exactly what I needed to get the line that I wanted into turn 3 to pull away. That bottom lane was just not there on the long run. You were so tight. Running that middle lane, middle to bottom, is where it was at most of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a great finish here, taking the checkered flag, getting the win column. We're going to the Milwaukee Mile next. You got the momentum, you got the eyes on you. How do you feel at a track like that?
No idea. I've never raced there.
Well, that
I've
seems
don't even own the track.
yeah,
So
that seems to be a common theme so far, so it should be an interesting one to say the least. But as for the 1.5 here at Chicagoland, you dominated and got the win. You want to shout out anybody before we get you out of here?
shout out my teammates. The 8 car for getting that push, and also a little bit of luck because I went to the back to the front twice. I got involved on an early wreck with the 09 or a little bump that sent me all the way back to 24th. Then I got spun, got back sent back to 20th, and I somehow ended up in the lead. So a little bit of luck there. So
Absolutely,
shout
a
out to
little bit of
that.
luck, a lot of skill here. Congratulations on the win, Aiden, and we hope to talk to you next week.
Thank you.
That was Aiden Stevens getting the win out here at Chicagoland, Luke, and that was a hell of a race. It was very clean throughout, and we didn't see the green flag pissed off, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you, Kevin. I think it covered almost everything we wanted out there. Apart from that, I don't think we could have asked for any bigger wrecks out here at such a short track out here. I know I didn't expect it out here, especially after that first one.
Yeah, no, I can't say I was expecting to see a flip here at Chicagoland, but never disappointed with these incidents, and never disappointed with the racing either. I know, looking at that restart, I thought Jacob Petrosky was just going to take it on a good launch, but we got the action-packed racing we wanted there at the end, and that's all we can ask for. But I think that's gonna about do it for tonight. Next week we're going to Milwaukee Mile. Luke, I know I already have to buy the track. I don't have it yet, so that's gonna be a fun one. I don't know if you have it, but I don't know anything about it, so it should be an interesting one. But huge thanks to Pro Spill Recovery and Excavation for coming alongside and making this broadcast possible. Huge thanks to WWSS and Omar and Logan and everyone else that makes this league run as well as it does week in and week out. We see full fields, so thanks to the guys that race it and the guys that watch. And I think that's about all I've got for us.
Yeah, I think you about covered all grounds. We'll see you guys on the next one. Good night, race fans.
Peace.